You're now listening to a RattHaus production podcast. For more podcasts like this, head to RattHaus.net.
Ooh.
Dude, that was fucking loud. That scared the shit out of me.
My bad.
All right, guys. Welcome to another brand new month, new episode of Hunt for the Paranormal. I am your host, Mike, and as always,
That's it again.
Jose. Why are you so far away, Jose?
Someone's got to produce.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, so
Get a minute on this camera. Right. Hopefully you didn't move out of the way.
No, I see myself.
Oh, okay.
all right, so obviously me and Jose weren't around for our last episode due to conflicting scheduling issues, bullshit. So it's okay.
Yes.
So you want to go on part 2?
Oh yeah.
On your second half, and then
We were
part 9,000.
We were doing
What was that?
origin
Part 3.
stories, and we kind of had the interview last week with Garan.
Yeah.
And I kind of told a little bit of my stuff, and I have a few stories. A lot of the dream stuff, because he actually had a lot of experience within the dream realm as well.
Oh
and
shit!
how,
Okay.
it was interesting. What he was talking about is that it's more in the sense of the same feeling.
Yeah.
You might not see the same things, but you'll feel
the same shit.
The same thing you felt in the dream, usually when it comes into life. But yeah, we'll just go ahead and carry it on. When I first started getting interested into the supernatural, it was primarily based off horror movies. I'm a huge horror movie
Usually
fan.
it starts over.
There's only two type of movies I go out to the theater to watch, and it's either horror movies or superhero movies. So yeah,
I don't know.
I watch a lot of comedies.
yeah.
That's it.
I like renting those and getting high at home or something. Get stoned. You can't really smoke weed.
I don't know. The horror movies are still a little lackluster for me. There's really hardly any really good ones.
Well, yeah. Usually the Insidious or James Wan. He usually doesn't let you down.
Yeah, but you said the last one was
Yeah, that one did let me down.
It wasn't as good as the other one.
But that wasn't James Wan either. That was
wasn't
the writer. Actually, that was the writer, same guy from Saw. Actually saw the new Saw movie.
I haven't seen that one either.
It was pretty good, but they try to fuck with they trick you a little bit.
Well, that's the whole
That's
purpose
how
of the movie.
most horror.
I was, me being me, I'm hoping all right, he's back from the dead.
I'm assuming
it's
he's
his
not.
ghost.
Yeah, he's not.
No, I'm not gonna say anything.
Oh,
But they do a good
They're
job.
all dead.
They do a good job though. I thought it was pretty interesting. It felt like they did tone it down a little bit with the goriness or the cringe.
I blame the political correctness for that.
They kind of did. It felt like the last scene.
I'm
You get that moment where it's just oh fuck. But mainly it's more in the sense of cuts here, cuts there, but you're not seeing it dig into more like that.
That's what makes a Saw movie a Saw movie.
I
It's
think they toned it down a lot. Yeah,
That
I
sucks.
fucking blame you, fucking PC correct motherfuckers. Take away
but it was entertaining. I
good
can say
stuff.
that. Yeah.
Well, that in the end of the day, that's all that really matters. Were you entertained at least watching it?
I don't know. Now I gotta watch it.
There's a lot of those moments too.
Why
Why would you fucking do that? Why would you do that?
Yeah. Well, I say that in every Saw movie. It's come on, really? You know what's going down here.
Yeah.
You know exactly what's happening.
right?
Silly.
All right.
But yeah, and especially when it came to the supernatural, I always loved that. The Exorcist, The Omen, because I watched The Omen back when I was 7 years old.
God, that movie was fucking scary.
Did you watch all the original ones?
Yeah, well, the first two, before it got the guy from Jurassic
going.
Park.
Oh yeah, you had to get going.
When it got a little too political, I think, for me, and that's why I kind of tuned out.
Fine for me.
Well, yeah. Well, especially in the second one where he kills his cousin and gives him the aneurysm.
Well, serves him right for being a dick.
Did you go see the remake when it came out?
I did.
Yeah, but I was
On
disappointed.
6/16.
I had to because it was my senior ditch day.
That was mine too. Yeah, I was sick.
You guys are the same age?
People were afraid of us. Well, I'm the younger spectrum of that year.
Well,
I graduated at the age of 17. So I'm 29.
Oh, so it's just slightly older than you.
Yeah.
You're gonna be.
You're probably on the
33.
older side. You know how they.
Yeah, I'm turning 30 this coming up week.
Oh, okay.
I'm right where I should. be.
Wait. So when this airs, so that be 2 days. 2 days.
Well, happy birthday.
So, so
You old fuck.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
But the thing is, like right after me and my mother watched this, and what I love about my mom is she would always like first of all tell me, okay, what you're watching isn't real. We would be watching Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
I'll be
yeah.
6 years old. And
Who
watching
gives
those
a
things
fuck? Your imagination still fucks with you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I think I've
It's
said
not
it
real.
before.
It feels like it.
Yeah. Well, Exorcist, I couldn't sleep after that.
Oh,
One of the
yeah,
other ones I
dude.
couldn't sleep after was a Twilight Zone movie with Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
When he's like, you want to see something really scary? And he goes into the darkness,
Yeah.
comes out. I couldn't get that blue fucking face.
Yeah.
And you know how it's like perfectly shadowed in the darkness? So every time I look into a dark spot,
You see that?
you just see the face come out. And like,
Candyman fucked my world up.
Oh,
yeah. I didn't see that one until I was older.
No, I
but
saw
I
it when I
did
was
see
young.
the
Candyman.
I hated bees.
I'm not gonna lie.
dude,
Fucking,
freaked me out.
I think the one that fucked me, it was like, probably was like either 5 or 4. It was fucking Child's Play.
Yeah.
That one fucked.
And then I got
But that
older.
came out the year we were born.
yeah,
Then I got older. And I was like, dude, why didn't he just kick it?
right.
Yeah. So
Well, it's voodoo, dude. He's
Yeah.
super. We don't know if necessarily like what if he's stronger than he seems. You know,
voodoo da voodoo.
Voodoo,
You do that voodoo that you
running
do.
for my midget.
but right after we watched like movies like The Exorcist or The Omen, my mom had a vast knowledge of Revelations in the
Oh,
Bible.
God.
Yeah, so she went down the line and told me about how all of this was about the earth would crack open and serpents would come out and half human, half scorpion bodies.
This isn't helping.
And no. What was funny is because like, okay, that's not real, but we're taught that this book and these stories are real and this is gonna happen. So like, I'm getting a cross between The Omen, which wasn't nearly as bad as the story she's telling me, which
Yeah.
I'm like taking for a fact.
It's
And
like affirmation.
that was the day I started praying every night. I swear to God, yeah. Because of that shit scared the
Jesus.
fuck out of me.
yeah.
I don't blame
Scared
you, man.
the fuck out of me. Perfect way to get your kids to act right is show them like The Omen and then tell them about the Bible.
No, you just show them the fear of God, and the fear of God is you.
You think that's scary?
Well, no, and then she would tell me like, and
Check
then
out
the 666 would come
Oh,
out.
shit,
They would
right?
start branding
Lutherans
people.
3, chapter
You know,
3.
and if you're a good Christian, this is what my mom told me.
Yeah.
If you're a good Christian, and they'll try to get you to serve him, to take the number, but you can still fight against it, and they may cut off your head, but you'll be rewarded with the heavenly gates. like,
It's
shit
like,
that.
dude, then I'm gonna be a bad Christian so they don't touch me.
Yeah, fucking no.
I'll be a mediocre one.
Yeah, they're gonna show up and
7
say,
years old.
"Have you been a good Christian?" No, I stole a fucking Snickers bar 2 days ago. Fuck, we can't take them.
Yep.
Yeah, but that means you'll
to
be
it.
left
Well, shit.
to deal with the serpents and the branding.
Yeah, but Jesus forgives.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's why you got to fight at that point.
I'd be forgiven on the second coming. On the second.
I would love to see Mike in the apocalypse.
Oh, dude.
It'd be like Doom.
He'll be running in, guns blazing, be taken out so quick. Just, fuck! I miscalculated this.
Hey, but apparently since he fought against the rebellion, he'll go to heaven. Yeah. So it doesn't
I don't know,
matter.
dude. I'll still play my tactics. You already know how I am. I'm like try to be sneaky as fucking and booby traps everywhere. It's like, where's this guy?
Who's the old guy from Supernatural? That's Mike.
Which one?
It's not Roy, is it?
Nah, fuck. Never mind. It was
Yeah, I
the
know who
old
you're
guy.
talking about,
He was
like-
a friend of the dad.
Yeah.
Oh,
the white dude.
that homeboy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's you.
I got that. You know they're doing a crossover between Scooby Doo and Supernatural, and
Yeah,
it's gonna be animated.
Dude, that's been
That's fucking-
dude.
that's
been like
great.
in the talks for like ever, and they're
It's finally
finally
happening,
happening,
dude.
dude.
I gotta be honest though. My favorite Scooby Doo's are the ones where like these aren't masks.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
when they
yeah,
had
yeah.
they ran
Yeah.
into the werewolves that brought in the zombies, and then there was the
Oh,
vampires
God,
they
yeah.
ran into.
You know, they
That
have
was
the-
a good one though.
I need to
like
watch
that.
the Batman one. Batman and Scooby Doo.
Oh yeah.
The new one or the older ones?
I've
I've seen
my,
the older
new
ones.
My
Oh, I
favorite
haven't seen the
Scooby
new
Doo
ones.
was the haunted house episode where they actually team up with 3 ghosts to find each
Oh,
clue.
yeah,
that was
I
the
remember that.
best one. It was just Shaggy. It was like
I
the
like the
stoner
Harlem
group.
Globetrotter ones. Those are always
That
fun,
was good.
man.
I'm not gonna
They
lie.
had superpowers.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well, that's why they did the South Park episode with Korn, and they all had their weird little
Yep.
powers. Yeah.
Nice.
All right, so back to the
Yeah,
origins.
yeah.
But yeah, so saying that and having my mom use it, like every time we watched a horror movie, she would tell, like she would know. She was like me in
Yeah.
that sense, where she would research and like hear the story. So she would tell me Freddy Krueger was based off of real life people
Yeah.
that had the same nightmare. And like the same thing with like even Michael Myers, like, oh, they say he might be the Antichrist. He might just be the boogeyman. Like,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of mythologies within their own mythos, you know. So being that, like, and then we were the first generation to really have the internet.
Yeah.
You know, so I would look for books of monsters and myths and stuff like that, and that's how I, started learning about mythology. And once the internet came out, it became so much easier.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like things like Beelzebub, I would just Google that and then start reading about it, or the Lord of Flies, and then it would connect to other mythologies.
Did you ever go on the website like facesofdeath.com or something like that? That shit was brutal.
I remember
we were just
Rotten.com,
talking about that.
fucking-
Rotten.
Rotten.com, yeah. that
Yeah. Now you gotta pay to go on there.
one too. You do?
Yeah.
Well, you
Bastards.
gotta keep with the time somehow.
They can get advertisement.
Well, like you gotta think about it, a lot of kids watched it. Now they're adults, and now they can afford to pay it. Like,
I don't give a fuck. I'm cheap.
yeah, but I could never watch it. We actually just watched Joe Rogan's his reaction to Two Girls One Cup.
Oh,
And we were just
yeah.
because my fiance,
And,
she's a big
Pain
fan of him, but
Olympics
she
and
never
stuff.
watched that, and that's when he brought up the Pain Olympics, and we started talking about all that.
Oh god, the
And
fucking Pain Olympics. I remember those.
I love horror movies, but I can't.
You can't do that kind of gruesome
Not
shit.
real.
Because that's not really horror. That's more just.
That's real.
Like,
That's just brutal.
Yeah.
Even the Saw movies and the original ones, that was hard to watch.
Really? To me, that was more like a psychological.
dude.
That's
You're a
not
soldier.
really like a horror for me. That's more of a psychological thriller.
What do
Yeah.
they call them? What do they call them? Like torture flicks.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm fucking down with that, dude.
No, I like
like,
those movies. I think
Well,
there's
that's Jason. Like I would watch that as a
Yeah.
kid, but I watched a lot of the old ones. They were very, very graphic.
I
More
saw-
than
oh,
I
yeah,
remember.
I don't know. My favorite part.
Oh, you know
I think
what? You know
been
why
loving
it
it.
is though? Because when we were little, you wouldn't think about it, but you would like just close your eyes a little bit.
Yeah.
When things would start to go down. You're like, oh.
Yeah, that's true.
So you'd like look away or something, so you really wouldn't see too much of the graphic
Yeah,
shit.
true. I think my favorite part. I think is the second one, and the fucking chick runs away and hides under the bed.
Oh yeah.
And then she fucking sees the rat and she fucking pisses herself, and Jason's like nowhere to be seen. And all of a sudden he just fucking misses, like, wow! I'm like, bitch, how can you miss?
Yeah. The game is amazing. I love the game.
Which game?
The Friday the 13th game.
There's two.
Well, the newer one.
Okay.
Yeah. It's really good, and it has those moments where like the people are hiding underneath the bed, and you can like, I don't know where they went, because then the radar doesn't
Yeah, I've
work,
seen
and you
gameplay
just
of
start
it.
stabbing through. It's fucking hilarious.
Did Leprechaun ever scare you at all?
Not
too much?
not scared me, but it was like a horror movie. Like it scared my brother and sister, because my sister's like 4 years younger than me,
Yeah.
and then my brother's like 7 years younger than me, so they were like toddlers watching those.
Yeah. Well, that's different. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's like from all the horror flicks of that time era.
Yeah.
Watching as a kid, I think that one didn't
scare you as
No,
much.
dude, that fucking made me laugh. Fucking
Yeah, the
I
one
did
when
like
he's
the
back in the
concept.
hood. Yeah,
Oh,
but did that
God.
get you like more into hooked to like the folklore of?
Oh yeah, yeah.
leprechauns and stuff
Because
like that?
anytime I see anything, and if it had, well, like there was an old movie with leprechauns that was like a Disney flick, and it was very dark. To be honest, I forgot it was like the Land of Ireland or something like that, where it was like it was filmed where the people they were just shrunken. You know, they
Yeah.
they did the tricks to make it look like they were small, and they were living in this realm. But there's one point where like the father of the farm owner dies, and like you see the Reaper coming, and like the clouds get dark, and you see the chariot, and it's like all they're like the Reaper, or they look like the mentors from Harry Potter, yeah. But they got like the black cloak with these black horses with red eyes, and they would come to collect the souls, and like the leprechauns were afraid of them, and like there was a lot more to the mythology. Like those were I forget what they're called, but we'll bring it up later, because
Yeah.
I'll be going to Ireland, and I'll be researching all that stuff again.
nice.
So I'll have a list for all of us, and we'll just go down the Irish stuff because there's banshees, there's all kinds of different
the
dark
banshees.
like folklore, and that's what I liked about that one movie because there's a lot more truth to them than you actually realize.
Yeah.
And if you like, I put on the challenge to anybody, like the Dybbuk. You know, that's how I found out about the Dybbuk and how like those are the demons from the Jewish mythology.
Yeah.
You know, just Google it and you'll be surprised of how much this stuff is probably older than most of our history in America.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, and real quick, I don't know why it just popped in my head.
What's up?
But maybe if you guys are down one day this year to take a trip down to Iowa,
I'm down.
Never been.
my friend's sister lives in an abandoned elementary
Down.
school.
You already said it.
And I guess it's one of the most haunted elementary schools or places in Iowa.
Well, that sounds perfect.
So yeah, she says she can try to hook it up because they usually do like tours and all that stuff and haunted mazes and all that stuff down there.
That sounds awesome.
So maybe we can go there and do an investigation.
Down.
Because we can actually stay in some of the classrooms and stuff.
Oh, goody.
Down.
Everybody gets their own room. It has to be alone. That's the only way it works.
So we'll try to work that out later. Yeah, that'd be fun.
I'm down.
We'll put Gina in another room too.
Yeah. Well, you guys can have your own.
No, we gotta.
You're like, no, I don't care.
It's gonna be more.
I don't care
It's
if
gonna
we're
be
just-
more Aaron being
Yeah.
scared. It's like,
I don't care if we're just married.
You're gonna hear him.
You're gonna hear Gina suck it up.
Stop being a little bitch.
Something touch me.
Gina will be smart. She brings her stones. She's like, I'm good. You didn't believe in these things, so
safe.
that would be hilarious. Though.
Gina, we heard you screaming. No, that was Aaron.
It's like, what the fuck? We just barely got here.
So that pretty much that opened the door to angels and demons, and I got really into the demons for a while because they were the most interesting stories, and especially with the descriptions.
Yeah, not to mistake it with like you being like demonic or a Satanist or anything like that. You just got into that aspect.
I
of
just
religion.
found it so
just bizarre.
No, just
interesting.
interesting or just fascinating. That was the word. I was like fantasizing.
Sort of fantasizing about demons.
No, but because it deep down, I believed it to be true. You know, it was like one thing. It was like these are ghost stories here, but I was raised Christian. You know, so to me, this is real. You know, actual.
yeah.
These are things on the other side that we have no idea. So it kind of like laid the foundation for my own like spirituality,
Yeah.
and that's what. Well, because once I started getting into that, I started to notice the similarities between these angels and demons and these ancient gods, and that's when it started getting into Zeus and all the other religions.
Because like all the paranormal stuff and supernatural and spiritual shit, they all intertwine with mythologies and their stories, which I think the stories that we have now all evolved from the
Same place.
yeah, from the folklores and mythologies of back then.
Well, and we said it here too a couple times. Like I think that it's all the same. You know, we all see the same things, but due to our own culture and upbringing, we perceive them differently.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why every religion culture has different slight views to the same story, which is don't be a dick.
Yeah,
You know,
pretty
don't
much.
be an asshole.
So it's kind of like how the ancient Chinese perceived dragons. You know, they said it was dragons, but the gods came in on dragons and all that stuff. When really it could have just been extraterrestrials coming in on rockets. They see this long shaped thing shooting out fire, like, dude, that's a fucking dragon.
Yeah.
that
Or
I don't
dragons
know.
existed.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. We do seem to have them. They got the little dragons in Indonesia.
That wasn't real.
That wasn't real?
The
No.
little tiny one.
I thought that was real.
No, some guy sculpted it.
Yeah, I hope.
I know they got me.
Trust
too.
me.
Son of a bitch.
I
It was a
hope-
white one that you saw, right?
No, it was like green.
Yeah, I know.
Oh wait, no, the little lizard with the wings. I think that might be real. I thought you were talking.
yeah.
Oh,
no.
those lizards?
Yeah, I thought you were talking about.
Well, I'm saying they got winged. You know.
Yeah, winged lizards and stuff. What?
Wait. Like look like dragon wings?
They look like the little ones from what's the Avatar?
Yeah,
They look just like that, but like little lizards with wings.
little tiny lizards. I
No,
mean,
no.
they're like that big.
Yeah. But they don't actually have wings.
No, they're
No,
wings. They fly.
they're gliders.
They're gliders.
Yeah,
They're-
it's like
Oh,
it's like the
yeah.
flying squirrel.
I want one of those. Though.
That'd be great. Just throw it at your friend.
Actually, no. Actually, no. There's a different lizard I want, but
Bearded dragon,
no. He
yellow spotted lizard.
Those
Just-
are actually pretty cool.
It's a bearded dragon.
I know.
Just in holes.
No, it's actually a fucking huge ass lizard. Actually, you can actually train it. Almost this lizard is that smart. It actually is like borderline as a fucking dog.
Nice.
So, anyways, all right.
Okay. Yeah. So that pretty much opened the whole world to all this, and I don't know. I still didn't I believed it, but I was always a skeptic. And then there was the one day I actually saw one of these. Well, I don't know what the fuck it was.
Like
This
a
was-
demon? Or
well,
just
no,
a dark
I don't know. I
figure?
think it was a dark thing that was trying to scare the shit out of me as
Maybe
a kid.
'cause-
I told the story
yeah.
the first episode. I think I was on here over a year ago. It was the television one.
Yeah.
Oh,
But now that we've kind of learned more about you and what you were into, do you think it was because you were starting to get too much of an interest into the demonic aspect of religion?
Possible,
Kind of
but
starting to
it
question,
never.
you know what I mean? Like
never
when you
crossed my
start
mind that way.
reading more about it, you're slowly
Well, that's the thing.
contacting, slowly opening a little door, like cracking the door. Maybe you accidentally
I don't
cracked the door
know.
open a little bit.
Well, because
and
even
let
the
something
story
in.
I told the other week with my aunt, and the dark thing that came blocks away, the sleep paralysis experience. Like I've always had this fascination with the other side and then ghosts, demons, everything. Since I can remember, to be honest. There's not been a time where I wasn't interested into these dark kind of things. So,
Or could it be is that the fact that you're a little bit more aware or sensitive to it now?
well, because it happened to me when I was like 7 or 8 years old.
Well, I think with being that young, I think it's just like that's because I like the same thing I keep going to like over and over again. It's being as a kid, it's like just the sense of innocence. Because even with your mom being like super religious and quoting fucking revelations constantly.
Well, she wasn't super religious, but her father was, so that's why she knew all the stories.
Yeah. So, but even though with that, it still made you innocent.
Yeah.
And I think that could have been a big thing on that aspect. But that's my.
Well, it
own
felt like it was
speculation.
something that was trying to get like a rise out of me or like scare me,
So it could've been
essentially,
some
just
sort of
to try to
trickster.
feed on it.
Yeah.
Feed on
Well,
your
I don't
fear.
know. Maybe that's what I like because it didn't come across as like anything like that, and it didn't pursue me, after the fact. So
Yeah.
like
Try
I
to get
said,
a reaction, you didn't react to it, and it
and
was
it
like,
moved
all
on.
right, fuck
Yeah,
it.
I think
it's like,
I honestly
this
think it
bastard.
moved on because of that. It didn't get what it wanted.
Yeah.
And pretty much what happened, like I was at my friend's house, Corey. We were probably like 7, 8 years old, and he lived like 3 houses down from me. So we were gonna play Super Nintendo, and in order to do that, we had to play in one of the rooms, which only had a TV back then. You didn't have that
Channel
many.
3, bitches.
Exactly, and in our area, Channel 3 was the Spanish channel. Like it was very limited, and most areas was the same.
Yeah.
So if you were on Channel 3, it was nothing but Spanish, and it was just I've never seen any English spoken on the Spanish channel. It doesn't make much sense for there to be English on the Spanish channel. But this day we decided to go ahead and play in his mother's room. The system wasn't in there, so he left the room to go get it and like unhook it from the other TV and bring it in. So while he was doing that, I turned on the TV and I set it to channel 3. There was the Spanish type of like game shows they had on. Like it was one of those, and then it switched to commercials. Had a couple regular commercials, and then this scene came on, and it was didn't really seem like a commercial. But then like after the Spanish happened again, or the Spanish show came back on. But what happened? Like it went from black and it faded in, and it showed this little boy like tucked into a bed. And behind him was like he had no pillows. He had nothing but stuffed animals. And it was like-
I remember you saying this. Yeah.
It was an old bed with a big wooden backboard.
Yeah.
So like stacked up row upon row
Yeah,
upon
yeah.
row were like teddy bears, all different kinds of stuffed animals. And like even some porcelain ones. And the kid had like a bowl haircut. Kind of looked like a pilgrim, if you like imagine one. Like that's how I imagine
Kind
it.
of like in Hocus Pocus, how they would dress.
Yeah. Like he had the bowl haircut, and he kind of had that old-fashioned clothing.
Yeah.
And he was tucked tightly in, like to the point where he can't move, and he's just like looking with intense eyes across the room. And as it like pans out, it starts to show the room that he's in, and you don't see any walls. It's just black. And there's like maybe a little bit of floorboard space in between the bed and this rocking chair with this woman sitting in it. And that's pretty much all you can see is just the figures the bed, and then like some of the floorboard in between the two. You know, and then it starts to zoom in. You can hear this woman speaking to the boy, and she's telling, like, reading from this big book that's in her lap, and she's dressed in these old like Georgian era clothes, like the corsets, and
Okay,
she
okay.
had the white
Veil.
makeup. Well, it kind of looked like she had the makeup when dudes used to put
Powder
the
their
powdered
face,
faces with the dot and all that.
Oh, the pretty much like royalty
Yeah,
type of
and
deal.
she had white hair. She was wearing the old like gray white dress.
Yeah.
But it was like you could see that it was old and aged.
Yeah.
You know, it was
It was all
super
tattered and
wrinkled.
stuff,
Yeah,
yeah.
really wrinkled in the face, pale white eyes, and like kind of covered in like cobwebs here and there. And she's just reading from this book, and like from the gist of it, from what I remember, she's like, I remember the specific line is like, and this thing would come from like, or she was telling him like, and this thing goes from house to house looking for bad boys and girls. And then like she looks up and it's showing the kid like scared, and it zooms in on her white eyes, and pretty much she tells him like, you're not a bad boy, are you? And then it ended. And my friend walked in like right after that.
Scared the
like,
shit out of
just
you?
for like in the movie where like it ends and you try to say some shit and you look crazy. Yeah. So I didn't play video games that day. I left. Yeah. I didn't tell him why. I just
I'm gonna go home now.
I didn't even bother telling him what I saw because he wasn't the supernatural type. So I didn't think he would believe me, and I even asked him like years later. I'm like, hey, did you ever like experience anything? And kind of made like, you mean supernatural? Like he's like a scientist type of dude.
You're
So
like,
he
no,
doesn't
no,
believe
no,
in
no,
any of that.
totally not supernatural.
No, I'm just saying that, you know, anything weird. He's like, no. I'm like, okay, well,
the false
there you go.
wiring.
Filter rewired. But yeah, and then like right after, and now that you guys know a little bit about my mom, I go up to her and I told her exactly what I saw, and like of course she believed me, and like she just gave me this intense look, like holy water. She's like, well,
Yeah.
you didn't do anything, did you? And she just gives me that look, like,
What the fuck was I supposed to do?
no, like you didn't do anything bad.
Yes,
Yeah.
tickle
Like,
its foot.
well, you
Mom.
didn't deserve it, right? That's pretty much what she was saying. Like,
Like, what'd you do to make this happen?
yeah, pretty much.
I wanted to play Super Mario. And
Yeah.
no.
And I even asked her, and she remembers the day I went up to her and told her all this. And
Yeah, yeah.
like she
I'm
says,
sure
the look-
you were probably like pale faced or something.
Yeah,
you know?
she said like for an 8-year-old or a 7-year-old, like I had a look on my face where like I wasn't sure of what I saw.
Yeah.
Like I was
That's probably the same
like
face I had.
you know, your
when-
eyes are kind of
when I
moving
got
around,
scared.
like you're thinking about it. And you're like just trying to analyze it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck did this
fuck
really
was
just
that?
happen?
Yeah, and that's the look she says I had. She knows. I
It's-
can't imagine.
It's that
you know,
weird,
as an
like
8-year-old
the
having that
weird
look.
original, naturally like bewildered look
Yeah.
on your
Yeah.
face. You're like what the
Flabbergasted.
yeah, just like what the fuck?
Fuck just happened.
Like I'm not, because I was just trying to figure out what the fuck did I do?
Yeah.
What did I do? And to be honest, I was like, I didn't do anything. I
didn't deserve
didn't do
this.
anything. So I kind of let it go. But, like,
What do you mean?
but that's why I was confused because like, why didn't I, like nothing that fucking warrants getting eaten by some monster? You know,
Yeah,
like,
it's like what the fuck.
It's trippy, man.
so that's pretty much like the most vivid thing I've seen, because there was no fade to it. It was as if you're watching a commercial. And
Yeah.
years, even like, you know, after that I was obsessed with trying to find like maybe it was a commercial for a movie, but it didn't have
Still
any
nothing.
credits,
Yeah.
no date, no wording at the bottom of
So-
anything, no advertisement, just that scene and that's it.
Is it safe to
Like,
say?
what the hell is that? What's the purpose of that marketing wise?
Is
You know,
it
like-
safe to say that could possibly be the beginning point of you actually looking for stuff,
well,
trying to find proof of something?
Yeah.
Besides, like, the horror movies and all
it
that
gave
stuff.
me a more of a feeling that this shit's real. Yeah, that there is stuff out there
Like,
that you
yeah.
can't really explain.
So what would you do if you see that fucking that fucking thing again on TV?
Depends, cause like if it was on Fox or something, I'd be like, okay, so maybe it was commercial. But then
What
again,
if your TV's off and you like
I
walk
would
by and
rationalize-
that scene's on?
Yeah.
if I heard it,
You're like, what the
that
fuck?
Would that would trip me
yeah.
the fuck
And then
out.
you change the channel and it's still the same thing.
Yeah.
Or if it was, that's a good scene. Well, I just imagine it like if I were to write it out, like, okay, the character
You see
walks
it-
into the
he-
house
he sees it once as a
and
kid.
he hears the TV on.
Doesn't think about it ever, and then
But then he hears the line,
Yeah.
"You're not a bad boy, are you?" And then, like, as soon as he looks at the TV, he sees the eyes, and it turns off. You're like, yeah.
Oh,
You're like, what the
trippy.
fuck? Yeah.
Or it could be like an origin where like the parents start doing something, you know, and like it
shit.
shows a kid being born, like the kid sees it and remembers it, you know, and then like it's already kind of towards the end, and then like it just shows him like skips forward to when he's already older, starts doing like getting into drugs, doing all this crazy
Dude, this
stuff.
can actually be made
And then
into
it
a
just-
very
yeah.
non-cheesy
Then
horror
He
flick.
just
Well, actually, I've
like
been
hears
working
that.
on one.
Yeah, he just hears that line like, "You haven't been a bad boy, have you?" And then it just turns off, and it's like, "Oh my god, there's gonna be
Actually,
another one."
Yeah, I know.
Well, that's
Fuck.
funny, yeah, because I've been like I have like 3 stories in my mind that like I made my life goals to just get done and do, and one of them is called like the itch of Mr. Stitch, and it's
What kind of itch does he have?
the kill. Pretty much the origin to the character is like he was pretty much high school sweethearts, you know.
Yeah.
And the father's getting a scholarship to football. So at the same time, he finds out his girlfriend's pregnant. She tells him in the second story of the A building, you know, in high school.
Yeah.
And he doesn't react to it the way she thought he would, and he ends up throwing her down the stairs to try to give her like an abortion, essentially.
There you go.
Yeah, so he dumps her. You tell anybody, blah blah blah, I'll fucking kill you. You know, and
Damn.
he leaves off to college and becomes who he becomes.
Jesus.
She stays behind and has the child. You know, so she ends up on pills. She starts to lose her fucking mind. And one day, when that kid's about 7 or 8, she just takes a knife to him and just fucks him up, cutting out his eyes, like everything you can, like the worst things you can think of, and throws him in the tub to drain out. As he's in the tub, the blood starts to form, and you see a face in the blood, kind of shaped like as if the water's talking to you. And it's the devil, essentially, or some dark force. And this is just a blueprint I have in my mind. And he makes him the deal, you know. And out of the blood, he becomes what he is. And it's really an 8-year-old kid in this form of like Freddy Krueger, in a sense.
Yeah.
Where he's cut up, he's got stitches all over his face. I'm thinking the eyes could be like no eyes and just stitches around it, or I don't know, something on the lines of that. But like hair would be like
Yeah.
Chucky, where it's all
I got
just
an idea
patches.
for you, but I'll tell you off air.
But then again, later on, the father, you know, he became a successful football star, and he has a son. You know, I'm thinking the character might be gay.
Swing, swing, clang, clang.
Yeah. So then the kid starts having visions of these murders. You know?
Damn, that'd be
and
crazy.
he doesn't know if he's going crazy or not. But then he finds out that it's his brother. Yeah.
Shit.
And then we'll figure out what happens. But that could be a good scene where I might twist these old stories into that, where he doesn't know he's going crazy, and maybe he walks in and sees a commercial with Mr. Stitch telling that story or some shit like that, you know? Because you got to mix in what you experience with, you know, fiction. Yeah. So I don't know. That's something I like.
Shit.
Gina
Or-
really wants me to write that.
Or you know how like you experienced that you don't know if it was like a real movie or commercial or whatever.
Yeah.
But what if now that as you're older, you see that on the TV, and then like the boy kind of like looks up, and it's the young version of you. Yeah.
Dude,
Those are the good details. But there was one time I was at my aunt's house and she had cable, and I felt like I thought it was the movie. I thought because I stood around and watched the entire thing to see if there was
Just
a
waiting
scene,
for it?
but it was a man, and he looked like her slightly.
Was it an old
But
man
it
with
was
long
in the
hair?
well, no, it was like a younger, like 30s, 40s maybe.
Yeah.
But he was in the Georgian era clothing. He had the white makeup stuff with the white hair, and he looked kind of close to it. So I thought maybe if that character is going to be in there,
So you're like,
it'll be this
bitch.
movie or something, you know. And
Then
I
nope.
watched the whole movie and no, I don't even know what the fucking movie was
You
about.
wasted just because you're thinking like,
Yeah,
I'm
I was
gonna
like,
see this part. I'm
this
gonna
must be
fucking see
it. This must be it. And I just stood around and watched the whole thing in hopes that maybe there's an old lady that looks like this. And
I love how the
no.
music's so timed perfect, because as we talked about kids, the kid music was playing. We
Oh,
got
yeah,
excited.
right.
It starts getting all pumped up.
It's good timing.
All right.
But yeah, pretty much that led to that. And I told another story where I was at camp. I used to go to a diabetic camp because I'm a type.
Oh,
1
is that the creepy
diabetic.
fucking diabetic chick that say, oh, so this and that? Fuck, dude.
Well, I met this girl who was pretty much like what she told me was suicidal. She had a near-death experience, and that she could see these things and like know about them. And me being me, like I was short, chubby, and into horror stuff, so I wasn't really popular back then. Like, you know. So I was like, all right, I'll play along, you know. And like to me, I'm like, all right, this is like fun. We're playing, you know, in a
playing.
sense. 'Cause
She's
I
my
was
friend.
I was probably like 12 or maybe 13 at this time. And hey, Matt. Pretty much she was telling me all this stuff, and she was like, oh, you're the type of person, which is funny because it kind of is true. Like, you can't see it. She told me I can't see it.
Yeah.
I don't see these things, but you can sense where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got a feeling like if it's in, you can point me in the right direction, is what she was saying.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, okay. So she pretty much started having me guide us. And she was like kind of like the first person to actually like have me follow my intuition in that sense, which kind of creeps me out because like I'm not the type of person to see them, but I have felt, and known when shit's there, you know, and that just seems to be how it works for me. So we would go and we would be walking around, and then I'd point in a direction because I'd felt something, and she would tell me their story. She would tell me like, oh, that's a little boy from 1970 something. Like she would fucking go detailed.
So it's either she really knew or she was just pulling your leg and she's a damn good storyteller.
By the end of it, I fucking believed her. Well, because there was a little moment where I can't explain it. You know, like we did that the entire night, and this was during the dance. So you either could go to the dance or you could just fuck around in like the U-Haul where all the games and stuff were. So we were just roaming around the campus.
Get a handy.
Nah, I didn't get nothing. But it was okay. But by the end of the night, so we all gather up, and by the end of the night, before we go into the, to bed, we check our blood sugars and we just make sure everything's level. And she, like, as my meter is counting down, it used to be from like 40 seconds. Yeah. She's telling me like, oh, hey, I think those ghosts actually lowered my blood sugar because my blood sugar is 63. And like as she was saying that, I was like 3, 2, 1. And I didn't even say anything. I was just like, I showed her the meter thing, and it said 63. We had the exact same blood sugar
and everything.
Yeah.
So maybe
two different kids, like I was fat, she was skinny, like just two different medications. Yeah. I can't tell you the odds of having exact same blood sugar.
Are you still in contact with her?
No. That was actually the last year I saw her, because sometimes some kids would be older, some wouldn't come back the next year.
Was she older or no?
I think she might have been like a year older than me or something.
Try to find her. See if she's still
I don't even remember her name. Damn. Yeah. But
what if she wasn't real?
Oh my god, that's right. No, other people reacted to her too, though. So it wasn't like, "Hey, who are you talking to over there? You were with nobody."
Talking to Shelly over here.
But I also did see shadows in this. Like we were doing pranks one night, and I could have sworn around the cabin I saw someone like come around the side and look at us, and I saw the body enough to grab my buddy and like run, because I thought we got caught. We run past it, no one was there.
Shit.
So pretty much, those are my own little experiences, plus what I've told on your origin story episode. We didn't really have time for the Asian stories this week,
but we'll give a quick rundown.
I like these origin episodes though. They're a lot of fun. Maybe we'll get Matt on an origins episode so we can hear some of his origins.
I think
I'm down with that.
My origin's Evil Dead. Yeah.
All of us do.
Yeah.
But the first time I found that movie, I asked my mom, what is this movie? It's called Evil Dead 2. She's like, oh, this is a guy, he goes to hell and back, and then back again.
Oh, so all right.
But, all right, so we'll give a quick rundown for what we'll be talking about for the rest of the month. So, obviously, to be in theme of what happens during the month of February. We're gonna talk about a little bit Chinese folklore, so spooky
Asian folklore.
Asian, anything from like the Philippines to anything that's considered Asian.
And then also we're gonna hit on a little bit about haunted plantations and shit like that. So one of the most famous one is Myrtle Plantation. So so beautiful building, but looks creepy as fuck. So on that, kids, I think we're gonna call it a day.
Yep.
And,
don't forget to go to our
we got
link
shirts
at Teespring.
Yep.
You can find our links on our pages. Go there. We have plenty of Hunt for the Paranormal T-shirts on there. We
show
got
you're a true
Sage
Annabelle fan by having the actual Annabelle
on your shirt. Have her on there.
None of that. Not just only our own. We have also a coffee mug too if you guys want one too.
We got coffee mugs.
So shirts, coffee mugs, and if you also helps us out also in the long run, but also our sister's podcast is also Apparel's on there as well. So hit up that link and we'll put it somewhere in the description. Chinga thingy, I don't know.
Yeah,
but
it's gonna be in the description. So,
but other than that, kids, all right. Thank you for listening to the Hunt for the Paranormal. This is Mike.
This is Aaron.
And I'm Jose.
All right, kids.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of the dark.
Yeah,